Hello, spookers and spookettes. It's time once again for the Midnight Spook Hour. Today we'll be taking a look at a selection of ghost videos, which I think we will always be doing every episode. And it is the anniversary of the Roger Patterson Bigfoot footage. So we're gonna take a deep dive into that. So let's wait for our guests to arrive. Turn up the creepy music just a little bit louder. And get ready for some fresh spooks. And some classic spooks. And even an HD spook. The show works best with audience participation, so if you're here, say hello. Duchess! Welcome. Today, we're gonna look at some. It's the anniversary of the Bigfoot footage, the classic Bigfoot footage, the best Bigfoot footage, arguably, because it is the Roger Patterson Bigfoot footage. But first, I thought we might start with the fact that I don't trust clothes anymore since the last episode. Don't trust them. I'm worried about things that are hiding in them. And this video here, brought to us by Sir Spooks from Kitty K38's TikTok, is only reinforcing that fear. Let's have a look.
What's going on?
I'm not even shitting. That closet door just opened. Like, I was just sitting here watching TikTok and it opened.
Typical, typical.
Lucy, come. Come.
Lucy, stay with Jaden.
Come.
You heard it open?
Yeah.
It's not gonna hurt you, Jaden. It just always does this. You know that, right? Okay. I don't see anything, but literally there's nothing. Oh my god! Oh my god! Come on, come on, come on.
Although throughout the
Oh yeah. It's just not trusting anything that houses clothes anymore, because apparently that's just a spook's favorite place to hide. And this is just, it's another good one, because she thoroughly investigates their closet, man. And that sucker is like, so how would we,
It's gonna hurt you, Jaden. It just
like, look at this. How would you go about reproducing that? Look at this shot. Yeah, fuck clothes.
You heard it open?
Like, go. She's got the whole thing open, right? You'd think, oh, she never fully opens the... No, she fully opens the left side. What does it look like? We got, like, we got shoe containers there, right? Just more freaking clothes. Where there's closed... Or there's got to be weird things with, like, eyeballs popping out of their head or whatever the fuck that was. But, like, you would... Hey, that's one way to do it, right? You can't have spooks opening and closing your doors if you take off the doors. If I could move my hands around, I'd tap my head like that meme. Uh, but yeah, like your first thought is somebody on inside the closet closes the door, right? But like espionage! You made it! Okay, I'll back it up real quick. So we were just discussing how I don't trust clothes anymore since the video we were watching at the end of the last episode, and this one is not improving my opinion of things that house clothing.
What's going on?
I'm not even shitting you. That closet door just opened. Like, I was just sitting here watching TikTok and it opened.
Bet she was watching spooky videos.
Typical.
Lucy, come. Come.
Lucy, stay with Jaden.
Come.
You heard it open?
I mean, she checks his whole thing.
It's not gonna hurt you, Jaden. It just always does this. You know that, right? Okay. I don't see anything, but literally there's nothing. Oh my god! Oh my god! Come on.
Although throughout
Yeah, like that's some good stuff right there. Because it's just as I was discussing when you joined us, espionage. She opens. You know, your first thought if you're going to recreate this is okay. There's somebody in the closet, right? We'll put somebody in the closet, and they'll close the door, and you know. But obviously that's not it because
Come.
there's nobody
Lucy,
there.
stay
She's
with
got the
me.
door wide open, right? You know, there's like some things that hold shoes. You know, there's nobody in the clothes, right?
You heard it open?
She's eliminating these options almost suspiciously.
It's not gonna hurt you, Jaden. It just always does this. You know that, right?
Like nobody's gonna cross between those
I
two
don't
doors
see
there, so
anything,
it
but
had to be in the left side of the closet
literally
to
there's
begin with.
nothing. Oh my god! Oh.
And like, how do you do that? A string? It's true that she leaves the left side open a little bit, but it sounds like she has experience with it. Maybe she knows that there's a preferred arrangement by
See anything,
the
but
specter. And like, honestly, would you close the doors completely if you thought something was in there? I'd leave one of those suckers open. But it is a little sus that she's posed everything up. Yeah, an actuator was my thought. It's just so quiet. That's the only thing.
literally there's nothing. Oh my god!
Maybe it sounds like it could be the noise of the door scraping against the rail, but it could also be an actuator when it closes, as you hear it.
Oh my god!
Down on the left. All right, let's back it up. So she opens the doors. She's gonna open the other one. And right there, it's a little blurry, but this is a pretty good shot, right? We got some kind of bins or something. The white thing? Okay. Someone could conceivably hide behind that. That's true.
Lucy, stay with Jaden.
She doesn't check quite behind
You heard
that.
it open?
They could be crouched down underneath it.
It's not gonna hurt you, Jaden. It just always does this. You know that, right?
It seems to be a common
I don't see
occurrence.
any-
Let's see if we can tell where the direction of force is being applied on the door.
But literally there's nothing.
All right, so it's about to close. Let's see if we can take this frame by frame. Oh, that's interesting. I don't even see a direction. I don't see a true direction. Like, I'm looking for some push, right? One object pushing on the door in a place that will push one part of the door slightly more than another part of the door, right? As opposed to it being closed by its handle. So that looks like there's a little threshold of force that it crosses there. It's going and then it speeds up a little bit. But it's so I can't pick out a single direction of force like somebody pushed on the top of the door or the bottom. It looks to me like it's been pushed in the middle. Let's look at it at full speed. Let's back it up and slow it down. We've got this here gear. I would say it had to be pushed in the middle to be pushed that cleanly. Is it? Speaking from experience. Yeah, that's the other thing. It overflexes the interior of the hinge. It's a lot of force. That's why I find it curious that it's hard to see a direction of force, right?
Nothing.
Like, I'm not seeing the top or the bottom of the door flex. I'm gonna turn this down because I keep hearing her scream. And yeah, it flexes that hinge. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember that now. Yeah. You'd have to, like, grab the inside of the door where it flexes and pull it closed with your hands. And that's not easy to do. I know what you're talking about, Duchess. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You either had to hook your hand on the very outside and close it from there, and to close it from the inside with the force to flex the hinges like that, you had to grab where the door folds and pull like that. And that's tough to do. But I suppose it's doable. And from the angle, someone who is hiding in the very corner could reach over. It's just done in one smooth motion. They'd have to be they'd have to be not leaning, you know what I mean? They'd have to have a firm grip so they could start it and do it in one full motion. Because it doesn't happen in two parts. Bam, it's all one part. Like, it's really fast. That's a good one. It's well done. We will put it that way. If it is not real, it is well done. It's well set up, it's well executed. But I wish they had opened the door. Right? Yeah. Like I said, eventually I'm gonna get good enough to bring these straight from TikTok and the various places, but for now, I still have to thank Sir Spooks and King Frostmare for doing a lot of the groundwork. Let's see. Now I bring you, from the same video, some HD spooks. This is good. It's just well made, I think. It's put together nicely, right? As far as when we talk about the tropes that scary videos take. Oh, hold on, I gotta take it off a quarter speed. There we go.
Daisy is also down there right now, and there's no way she could make that knocking sound.
So she's hearing bumps in
Oh
the
my
night.
gosh,
Literally
okay.
bumps in the night.
Okay. Daisy, honey, what's down there? Oh my god. I don't see it. Oh my god! I'm in the living room right now. Daisy, stop. It's okay. It's okay. Okay.
It's gonna close up in the next shot. Yeah. Like, fuck all that. She's collecting herself.
Whatever you are, you need to leave now. Now!
It's good
Many
firm,
people
firm
dog.
command.
It can be.
So I
can
want
look
to
just.
get to the part where it tries to zoom in here.
I don't see it.
Does he zoom at some point? Oh yeah, that's just.
Oh my god!
There we go. Now when you look at it, it's like it wouldn't be hard to, maybe it's not a ghost, but that does not make it any less scary if you accept the premise that she's supposed to be there by herself. Just steps out of frame.
As soon as she sees this, Kimberly does sound genuinely frightened.
Yep, that's exactly why
Oh, God.
shotguns are a thing. And it's like, you'd expect shoulders to start, but they framed it so well that if that is a person, it stops exactly where their shoulders are, so you can't make that out. Even when they step out of frame, it's really well framed.
As soon as
Yeah, that's a good good spot there, Duchess. If the dog's not barking, it's probably someone they know. That's why I prefaced it with it's a good execution in the sense of it hits the tropes correct, right? It's not necessarily difficult to fake, but it's shot just right, which gives you the spook. It's different things that give you the spook. Sometimes it's a little more of this and a little more of that. Let's see. That's it for that video. Let's take a look at a few more of our fresh spooks, and then we will examine. We're gonna dig deep. We're gonna be looking at this Patterson footage. Have you guys seen the Patterson footage, by the way? Next video, let's see. The Roger Patterson Bigfoot footage. Have you seen it before? Are you familiar with it at all? Yeah, Duchess knows immediately, and Daisy's not quite sure. Yeah, most people who are into cryptids know the Patterson footage. It's the most famous footage, I think. Stop me if we've done this one before, because I think we might have, or maybe we didn't do it on stream, but we talked about it another time. But this one still gets me, because it's just so well done, right? We've got another peeking video, or peek video. I think we've got 2 peek videos, okay? This first one's really good. Adam! Les spooked. Well, check this out. Check this one out, okay? Like, there's multiple facets to this, right? First off, it doesn't even look like there's space for that.
And he realizes
Oh
that
yeah,
there must have been something
Frostmare adds
indeed.
those stingers
Now, what was it?
to his footage, and I'm not always the biggest fan of it, but that's how he lets you know where
And he realizes
when you should be
that there
looking
must
for
have
something.
been something indeed. Could it be?
But it's like, it doesn't look like there's space for a whole human head. That's what makes this so interesting. It's like an optical illusion. Maybe it's a mask, right? Or maybe it's just a piece of paper? But it's casting shadows like real hair.
Right here. Apparently you can make out an eye and the nose.
But like,
what do you think?
There's no space for that.
Of course, the sighting freaked Andy out quite a lot. So he checks behind that little
And then
drawer.
he follows it up with this. Now you know there's no space for it, because look at that! Look
And
at that!
nothing.
There's an
I have no idea what it could be.
of room between the dresser and that wall.
Or what could have caused it to begin with. Let me
Like,
hear your explanation for
how?
it. Just a hoax? I mean, based on that toy, it is pretty safe to say that he might have a daughter himself. Was she responsible for that?
Well, how does her head
So who
fit back
knows?
there? Seriously, that's a good one.
Some theme park staff is fooling around in a local park in Mexico after
alright,
closing up.
we're not talking about that one. But yeah, that one gets me because of like just the spatial impossibility of it, right? That's another good peek video. A rat or a cat? Maybe. A small, yeah, small hairy pet or rodent or something that's climbing up it or hanging around it. That seems more plausible because a whole human head, that's, you're gonna have a hard time fitting that back there. Yeah. Let's
So he
see.
checked. What do you think? Right here.
Here it is a little bit zoomed in, right? Right, it might be a different take. Maybe the dresser, that side of the dresser is pulled forward a little bit now, and after he gets up, it's been pushed back. Because I'll tell you where I think the break would be. If there is a break in the, like, okay, the full shot, you see the shadow? That makes me start to think that the dresser, the end of the dresser is pulled away in this shot. Because you can see the shadow of the glass, and it's way further away from the wall. Yeah, I think this is the shadow of the glass, and the problem with that is that if this dresser were pushed right up to the wall, as we're supposed to believe in the shot, this shadow would be higher up. It would be closer. You mean the way that the wall suddenly turns black? I think that's the headboard. Or do you mean that maybe there's some extra space behind the dresser? So here, let's
Could it be?
go back a
Do you
little more,
realize?
because I'll show you where I think the cut in the footage would be, right? There the thing shows. Oh, there's some shadows on the floor too. Oh no, that's some kind of blur effect. That's annoying. All right, so looking back at it one more time. A blur on the edge of the dresser where her head pops out? He could be a wizard, Adam. I think that's what I'm saying. I think this, hold on, let me go back and see if I can tell what you're talking about. Let's take it frame by frame here. I think that in the shot, the dresser is in front of an open area like a doorway to another room. That gray shadow looks like the same shade of the tile continuing into another room. Oh, I see. See, I think this shadow right here next to the dresser that you're talking about, I think it's the light passing through that pane of glass. Okay, I'll skip ahead.
That there must have been something out. Could it be?
So you're talking about this almost triangular shadow above her head, right? Because I think that's the light from the glass. Because if the light is coming from... That's true. Why include so much space above his head? But yeah, I think that triangular... And that's the thing. That shadow is still... that shadow's still not adding up. Because if this dresser was pushed all the way to the wall, the shadow should be closer to touching the glass. Right? It shouldn't be all the way down there. It wouldn't cast the shadow all the way down there unless it were pushed away from the wall, which makes me think that it's not as close to the wall in this shot as we're led to believe. And then also, I think if I were to cut this, I know exactly where I'd do it.
But he did. Let's take a look.
She shows up. He gets up. He notices it in the camera, presumably. Gets up, right? Oh, why did he cut that? Ah, man. I thought it was one continuous shot. That's super disappointing. He cut it? Why
And
did
he
they? That's
realizes that
disappointing.
there must have been something indeed. Now, what was it?
That makes me
He
want to
was-
toss the... that's disappointing. Coming after that closet scare, this one really pales in comparison. That's a shame. That together with this shadow and the fact that I think, yeah, the room reset during the cut. Nope. That's disappointing. And frankly, all the spooky pale girl peek videos, those are always sus to me because it just screams copying The Ring, right? They're just using that trope. But let's jump to another one because we get a twofer here in the peak video category. Sadako gets a bad rap. We get a twofer in the peaking video category. And this one comes to us from another TikTok dance video. A surprising amount of spooks come from these. Hold on, let's back that up.
To take a peek at Rubik's as he's performing downstairs.
Alright, so it shows up to the right. It's just for a second. It's always one eye. It's never two eyes. It's never even half a face. It's like just the eye.
To me, it looks like a really pale face with recognizable eyes and dark hair. One could say almost like a young boy. What do you see? It's always hard to say if these videos could be legit. Whatever the case with that one, it's a terrifying thought, finding something like that on your recording, isn't it?
Yeah, the potato resolution makes it tough to make it out. Could be a dog even. I started with that closet video because it was so well connected to that other one that we saw, and that closet video is pretty good. All these others seem to pale in comparison. Let me see. I think I got one more before we dive into the Patterson footage. Oh yeah. This is a good one. This comes to us. This one comes to us from Paranormal Nightmares, the YouTube channel. There's a few of these, and I find this interesting. Like, so they're creators, or creators is maybe not the right word in this case, right? They're YouTubers who consistently put out spooky stuff because their house is supposedly haunted or this, that, and the other, right? So in this case, the channel's called Paranormal Nightmares. Their house is supposedly haunted, right? And I find this topic interesting because it's like they consistently are making this footage. And to me, if it's good stuff, if it gives you the spooks, it's equally interesting in terms of, are they really haunted or are they just really good at this? And this is one that makes me think of that. Check this out. Check this out.
Bowl of cereal, and we had the security cam recording in our kitchen because earlier in the day a cupboard opened on its own. We decided to record overnight, but this happened and it scared him. In the video, the dude is nonchalantly making himself a bowl of cereal as mentioned, but when he goes to grab the milk from the fridge, the cereal box moves clear across the counter on its own. Surprised, the man brushes it off, but as he pours his milk, the box moves slightly, and when he returns to the fridge, it slides clear across the counter again, finally falling to the floor. Needless to say, this guy
He's the
takes
only
this
one that
as his
talks
cue
all
to
the way
book it out
through
of
all the
kitchen.
videos.
Many YouTubers advise this poor haunted couple to move, while others are more worried about whether or not the guy eventually got his cereal, because you know, priorities.
Yeah, that fella's name is Chills, and he's well known for his voice. Oh God, his voice. Duchess, Duchess, I'm really surprised you don't know Chills already. Ch- Chills' channel is very well known because he always talks like that, and he always talks through all the footage. If you'll notice, I'll use some of some of the stuff Sir Spooks has found, or some stuff that King Frostmare has found, and they'll set it up and say something afterwards. Yeah, I'm gonna. That's what I've got it set up to do right now. But yeah, Chills is the only one that talks through the whole video. He never just plays the video without him talking over it. Everybody else does. And he does it with that voice of his. So we're gonna go ahead and mute that, and we will watch this again. They apparently had some kitchen cabinets open and close on their own earlier in the day, so they set up a camera to just record over the night. But fella here got hungry and came down for a snack and wanted to get himself some cereal. Now, what makes this interesting to me? Well, I'll tell you what makes it interesting to me after we watch it again without the voice. Right, he's got his hands on that box. Took it out of somewhere. Pours himself some. There it goes. He's like, yeah, whatever. Oh, shit. It moved on him right there? He's like, nah, I want to put the milk away and get the fuck out of here. He's like, no, you're not. Fuck off. He just bails. And what gets me is he took that box. That box ain't sitting on the counter, and he walks up to pour himself some cereal. He took that box out of somewhere. Like, you can talk about rigging, but he took the box out of this cupboard. He took the box out of the cupboard. Like, when do you have time to set the line? He's got tape in his hand and he's taping the line to the box as he pours? Maybe. That's a possibility. But so he has to draw up the slack from the line. Okay, could. And this is the interesting part for what you were saying, right, Daisy? The thing about magnets is that it comes across the kitchen sink. Where's the space to pull the magnet under the counter for that one? I would totally agree with magnets if it didn't cross that kitchen sink. But it slides clear across, and you've been under there. It does move roughly. I can't hand wave that one off. But you've been underneath everywhere, at least half of us have been underneath a kitchen sink and know that there ain't no space to maneuver a magnet to pull a box across that space of the counter. So this is a good one. A small RC car? Oh, look at that. Okay. Because maybe you think why is the box so big? I don't know. You're gonna have to ask the Cannaburge's company, because I've never fucking had or ever heard of that cereal. If anyone's ever heard of Cannaburge's, let me know, because I've never fucking heard of them. But yeah, that's a big old cereal box. You got me there. It moves in fits and starts. I know what you mean, right? It's kind of like eh. Yeah, it's strange. You're right, Duchess. It does move like an RC car. That's a good sight. But then the thing about that is he picks up the cereal and pours it into the frickin' box. Right? What'd they do? Glue it? I guess, yeah, you don't see any cereal. That's true. That's a big old bowl he's got there. Yeah, you never see the bottom of the box. Yeah. So this goes back to what I was talking about before we watched it. Is these YouTubers who put out consistently put out spooky videos, right? You're either actually haunted or you get good at it. And I think this is pretty good. As far as spooks go, this is pretty good because that's the only part where we find fault with it. That he body blocks pouring the cereal in. If we had watched him pour some cereal in, you live long enough to see yourself become the monster. Yes. I'm kind of on board with the RC car thing. Whatever, don't waste my cereal, man. I'm kind of on board with the RC car theory because of the way one side of the box seems to be raised. I guess. I don't know. At what point do you get used to it? Like, remember that video we saw last time, guys, where the dude pushed the chair away and the chair like came back at him? Like, do you get used to that? Okay. You live in a haunted house and make spooky videos for a living. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thankfully that's the only video from Chills, so we're not going to have to mute the rest of these. And it's time to move on to today's main topic, the Roger Patterson Bigfoot footage. And Duchess is familiar with this. The rest of you may not be familiar with this. This is the Bigfoot footage. I think the setup's probably... darn it, I want to know the... if I'd have done my job, I'd have like the year and all that. But we're not going to skip around and get ahead of ourselves. You never get used to it. Yeah. Yeah. It's just uncanny phenomenon, right? Like something that shouldn't be. Your mind can't make sense of it. Do you ever get used to that? So, Roger Patterson, I might as... darn it, I want to look it up. However many years to the day. It'll be on the top of our Bigfoot. Hold on. Really? r/Bigfoot, right? Oh, why are you being dumb today, Reddit? Anyway, it was at the top of r/Bigfoot today. Here we go. On this day in 1967. Oh, I guess that was yesterday. Well, whatever, we're doing it now. Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin came across a bipedal animal in Bluff Creek, California. Patterson was able to capture the creature on film, and it became known as the Patterson-Gimlin film. The inheritance is all of the ad revenue from your YouTube videos, Adam. This, on that day in 1971, is that footage. So there's 3 parts to this footage. I didn't know this. I was only familiar with the part that everybody's familiar with. There's the initial sighting where Patterson sees it, his horse gets spooked, and he falls off. The part where he chases it down, and then it's the part that everyone's really familiar with. And then there's a third part where it's walked out of his current view, out of his current framing, and he has to run and catch up with it for a little more. So we're going to watch the whole thing, all 3 parts, and then we'll watch some breakdowns and some stabilizations because, of course, this is 50 years old now. This is almost 50-year-old footage, right? 49-year-old footage. So this footage is the most examined Bigfoot footage that there is. And then I'll have a couple of pictures because I found a new site today. So here it is in its entirety, the 3 parts of the Patterson Gimlin footage. This is the first part where he first sees it. It's like kind of in the distance. And his horse kind of gets freaked out. And then he's like stabilizing it. And then there's the third part where it's still leaving the area, right? So that's the original Patterson Gimlin footage. Is that first part, and then the part everyone's familiar with, and then the third part. So now let's look at this. We've got stabilization of all 5 parts of the film here. This is that first part, that sighting from a distance. And you can see how their chosen method of stabilization, where they keep the subject in the same part of the screen. They're going to zoom and enhance and all that stuff.
Now we move on to just a color version of the film, and it's those few frames that are clear and stabilized. You see how wild, shaky the camera was, but I was able to bring it to center. And when you run it over and over and loop it, you get a pretty good idea of the walk. She's moving away pretty good. Now this is a panoramic view, and this is where I superimposed the walk over a good clear part, a still from that part of the film. Now I stop it right there. The reason is because it gets so wild, it goes up to the top of the trees and down at the pure sand, and it contributes nothing to it, and it just distracts. So I stop it there, and then I wait the appropriate amount of time and reach.
This is interesting stuff, right? Just this walk, and like, look at the size. I know people talk about it being a suit, but I tell you what, that's a damn good suit. You can see some of the musculature. I don't know what. Okay, there we go. Get it together now. This is a good one, right? Yeah, the bottom of the feet. There's one we're gonna get to. Like, when you zoom in really close, you can see the curls toe up as it rolls its feet when it walks, dude. What always really impressed me about the Patterson Gimlin footage is gotta be the face, right? When you think about a monkey costume, the face is where it always falls apart, right? You can't ever, the details are too big or too gaudy, or they're not right. But, oh yeah, check this out. Look at this. Now we're talking about the bottom of the feet, right? Look at the frickin' toes curl up when it walks. Now, the bottom of its feet could be covered in sand or something. I would imagine that it's the bottom of its feet are padded and not furred, right? If you think about how primates' hands and feet are padded, palms and whatnot. Look at that. Look at the frickin' toes come up. That's crazy. Here's the third part where it's walking away. And it just walks off through the trees. Oh, and here's some footage of afterward of the trackway. Here's some stuff, most people who are familiar with the main segment probably aren't familiar with. He comes by afterwards and takes footage of all the tracks. And now, the clearest frame. Look, now this is what I mean, right? When you think about monkey costumes, they generally don't get the face this subtle. Like the nose ridge, the brow ridge. If that's a monkey suit, it's a good monkey suit. A damn good monkey suit. Now, I've seen some analysis of the footage that talks about, like, the arm length here. I know. I try. Some analysis talks about the arm length here. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, if his arm was completely extended, his hand would probably fall down around his knee, right? Which I think most people's probably falls around their upper thigh, not their lower thigh. So there's an argument to be made that this thing's arm is much longer than a human's arm, proportionally speaking, right? And I think we talked about that when we looked over the footage of that one that reached up and grabbed a tree, didn't we? So, maybe that tacks. And it's just the musculature and, like, it's not frumpy, you know what I mean? It's just if this was some dude and he made a monkey suit, he had friends that made a damn good monkey suit. Like, look at the face. It's good. And yes, it's good. Oh, they just keep zooming in. Well, yeah, look at the frickin' face. And you saw the footage this came from. This is, and in a second, I think it's gonna show. Yeah, it's gonna show you all the negative sheets. To this day, still the best. Still the best. And then the proof sheets. Well, it's interesting, Duchess. I'll show you a couple of photos that were supposedly taken within the last 2 years of Bigfoot, right? I found this site called Phantoms and Monsters. Look at this shit. This was supposedly taken within the last 2 years. And the lens on his camera's cracked. That's why this is here. Like, the fuck? This is supposedly a Bigfoot with a deer over its shoulder. It was taken by a gentleman who was with his friend. They both believed that it was a Bigfoot. They heard what sounded like a deer in its death throes, And when they went to investigate, they saw this up on the hill. I don't know if that's how that works. I really don't. I've honestly never taken a photo with a cracked lens before, so I could not tell you. Right? And that's supposedly from September 2019. This was in Idaho. Yeah, the crack should be the most defocused element, not the most in clear element. Unless the autofocus mistakenly focused on the crack, that would explain why the rest of it's out of focus. Yeah, that's like I said. This was supposedly taken in 2019. Like when you talk about how the Patterson footage is hard to make out, I'd like to say things have gotten better, but no, they haven't. Like, here's another one. This one is supposedly, we'll open this in a new tab. This one is supposedly from a trail cam, again, within the last 2 years. This is the best we got. I know, it actually looks like a Polaroid. I think maybe this was taken. You see how in the bottom it's got previous, rewind, menu, and back? I think this is, yeah, someone's taking photos on a PSP. Someone's like taking a picture of their phone in their trail cam app or some convoluted setup. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that technology is bad. It's that the people that are finding these photos of Bigfoot, they don't know how to use technology. Like, I think the reason the Patterson footage is so good is because this guy was like he was a professional photographer, a video or a filmographer, right? He knew how to use this equipment. But that does just look like a trail cam, but then there's this thing in the off to the right of that image. This is supposedly I mean, it doesn't look like a deer, that's for sure. So that's the thing, in your opinion. Why are the photos so consistent and so terribly... Yeah, why are they so consistently terrible? You know, it's like the Fermi paradox, right? Adam. It's like the Fermi paradox, right? There are so many planets in the universe that, just numerically speaking, the chance of alien life, it's got to be... There has to be. But conversely, there's also the fact that we haven't been contacted in any way to suggest that there isn't any, and we have no evidence for any other intelligent life. So that's called the Fermi paradox. I'll have to make up a new name for this paradox. You know, like, because espionage, if you're still in, you can chime in here. It's always just out of the corner of your eye, right? It's never in focus or clear. It's like, how do these hunters get such good TV show deals? Yeah, right? Yeah, well, no way of contact that we're aware of. I mean, we've been trying radio waves and all that good stuff. But, like, why are these the photos of Bigfoot that come to us, even in the year of our Lord 2020, and not, you know, the 1080p stuff? I just don't know. I wish I could tell you. And it's like you said, yeah, even the people that set things up to capture footage still don't capture clear footage. And really, it's that the truth of the matter is 4K is fucking expensive, dude. Shit's expensive. Like, pictures are one thing. Video cameras and storing video just taking 4K video is expensive. Storing 4K video, more expensive. So I can tell you that you don't see a lot of 4K monster video because 4K is fucking expensive. And the other thing is that it's always this handheld stuff, except for this trail cam. Why is he so blurry? Why are you so blurry, Bigfoot? Well, go out and take a good video with your cell phone. So go out and take some wildlife footage. Like, go chase a cat. Go chase a feral cat with your cell phone sometime. And try and get a good video of that. Now I'm just fucking around. But yeah, maybe I heard a good stand-up joke once. Maybe it's a Mitch Hedberg joke, I think. That maybe Bigfoot is just naturally blurry, right? That's even more terrifying. Yeah, there's just a large, out-of-focus creature roaming the countryside. Well, you know, those 2 skunk ape videos we watched, those were pretty clear. Those weren't in potato vision, right? Those 2 skunk ape videos were not in potato vision. But yes, phones can capture clear footage. Indeed. I think for the first time, I'm going to remember to do this. We're going to hit the random button and read the SCP that comes from it, right? Let's see. As soon as I find it, I know it's around here somewhere. Cannons, formats, random SCP. This is how we'll end the spook hour, whenever I can remember to do it. Item number, SCP-1639. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-1639 is to be kept in a secure room of any reasonable size. All audio from SCP-1639 is to be recorded and submitted for analysis weekly. Should any researcher request SCP-1639 for testing, the request must be approved by Site Director Redacted. Description: SCP-1639 is a blank brand portable radio measuring 230 by 120 by 70 millimeters. The item's casing is red plastic and shows no signs of wear. SCP-1639 still bears its product ID and as such has been traced by Foundation operatives to the blank factory in Surrey, UK. This model was produced between the years 1979 and 1982. A piece of red tape marks the long wave frequency 2 blank dot blank kilohertz on the frequency tuner. SCP-1639 exhibits no unusual properties when set to receive FM radio stations. However, when long-wave radio is selected, SCP-1639 will receive a signal at 2 blank point blank kilohertz, despite this frequency being reserved for aeronautical navigation aids. No radio station is known to have ever broadcast at this frequency, and other radio systems receive no transmission, even when placed directly beside SCP-1639. Signal received henceforth is designated SCP-1639-1. The content of God, that's gonna be a mouthful to say. I'm just gonna say 1639-1. The content of 1639-1 is mainly in the form of jazz music, 93% of studied audio. The majority of the songs heard are pieces known to exist, though a fraction, approximately 4% of studied pieces, have been so far heard exclusively through 1639. These pieces are markedly different, utilizing fewer instruments and with lower sound quality. The remainder of the signal content is an individual, henceforth designated SCP-1639-2, speaking. 1639-2 will usually appraise the pieces that have recently been played on 1639-1, though occasionally 1639-2 will begin to discuss various topics, including jazz, poems written by SCP-1639-2, stories written by 1639-2, firearms, first aid, 1639-2's current state of health. 1639-1 is constantly transmitted, and 1639-2's narration occurs at regular intervals regardless of time of day, and 1639-2's reported condition. Addendum. Transcript log. 1639-3 extracts. Again, log. So that was Miles Davis in Blue and Green. Ladies and gentlemen, a wonderful track. Just feel how smooth it is. Really brings memories back. I can just feel myself relaxing and calming down, reaching a kind of calmness deep inside me. Other genres of music are heard by the ears, but jazz is heard by the heart. I told you I'd give you an update on my condition. Well, it's getting worse, I'm afraid. It's like a drill in my chest, you know. Feels like it's drilling deep inside me. I don't know if I can take much more. Anything else I wanted to say? Oh, yeah. I'm out of beans. I ran out of cans of beans this lunch, so now I'm down to the corn. Not quite getting my balanced diet, am I? The potatoes are growing, so that's good. They should be ready soon. I'm wondering whether to kill one of the pigs. They're looking awfully thin. I tried one of those green tubers I mentioned yesterday, and it was bitter, but it didn't taste too bad. I'll collect more at some point, after some more jazz. Took me 12 rounds to get them out, those, so I'll be out of magazines very soon. But now for some more jazz. Let those worries fade away. Transcript 1639-9 extracts. Begin log. Oscar Brown Jr. singing Brother Where Are You? I've always loved this one. It's a powerful song, you know? I can see the clouders moving around outside. I was gonna go out and fetch some of the water, but I don't think I'll be able to now. I'll go and get some later. I should bring the pigs inside. Sound of SCP-1639-2 getting up from chair and moving to the door. 16 seconds of silence. Then 5 gunshots are heard. 43 seconds later, the door reopens and 1639-2 is heard to sit down. They got all the pigs. Okay, this next track is Angel by Wes Montgomery. Well, I hope you all enjoyed tonight. And I hope the Roger Patterson footage gave you something to think about. And hopefully not see outside your window when you're trying to sleep. I'll see you all on the next Sleep Tight Spook Hour. I love SCP-2. It's so good. I spent a lot of time reading it back in the day. Thanks for coming by, everybody. Good night. Keep your pants clean and your eyes peeled.